Welcome to Retrobot, the YouTube channel where we feed a friendly space robot a diet of pure nostalgia. Thank you everyone for coming here on a Thursday night. Things are a little bit cray-cray. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit last minute-ish right now, and we're doing the thing. What are you showing me? The camera? Oh. Tip the camera? I can tip the camera. So yes, I have been getting ready for this stream, and I noticed that we've got White Crasher. Should we just start by talking about White Crasher rather than saving her for the end? So I've been wanting a White Crasher for quite a while, and I finally got one, and this is her. And let's go ahead and see if we can focus in on that. Actually, the focus is pretty good. We'll adjust the light. So this is White Crasher, and she is done in the Rothman's Porche color scheme. She looks awesome. And just to kind of put things in perspective, I've got an internet image of her that kind of shows what she's based off of. That is what the vehicle that Crasher is supposed to emulate, and I have to say this is actually a pretty nice version of that. Let me get it. There we go. So yeah, you look at that, and then that, and then back here, and then back here again. Oh, now see, I'm holding it just right. That's a good fade. So she's looking really, really cool. And I noticed when I got her that, boy, she looks a lot like Gen 1 Jazz. So I pulled out my Gen 1 Jazz, and he is not looking so good. He's got some sticker issues and some bad color fade, some yellowing of the white plastic bits. So I've been trying to get him ready for this live stream, and let me just put Crasher down, and so 1 hour and 20 minutes before we're supposed to be live on camera, I take apart Jazz and start painting some of the white bits, and we print out new stickers. So, making stickers, and I've got most of him together at this point. He's got freshly painted doors and freshly painted fenders here, and a freshly painted spoiler, and there is another spoiler. The other spoiler's right here, and it goes on right here. I'm just going to put it together right here on camera because well, what else am I going to do? So, and I'm hoping that I got the screws in the right place. I think I did. So we got some really, really tiny screws here, and we're going to just put these together like that, and put that in there like that, and seems that one's good. And I seem to, there's one more. There is one more. So we've got one more screw that goes right in here. And so let's go ahead and transform him. Just collapse the body here. I want to be gentle with him. This Jazz is far from pristine. Did we get this one at the Groovy store? I want to say that we did, and at the time that we got it, he had a broken windshield. Now this windshield is from, I think, a broken blue screen that also, all of these Autobot cars from the Gen 1 line have a weak spot right here where the hood meets the windshield. I think that Don was once telling me a story about he had a friend of his, he was using his, he picked up his prowl, I think it was, for the first time. It was brand new, and the windshield just kind of fell apart in his hands, and he swears that he wasn't putting undue force on it, and I believe him, because, it's such a weak spot, and I feel like a little bit of extra ribbing at that joint would have gone a long way. Just how, you've got, now granted, Jazz is a different mold than Blue Streak and Prowl and, Blue Streak, Prowl, and Smokescreen shared the same mold. And Jazz is not the same mold as those figures, but the windshield problem is exactly the same. And so what I did when I fixed this one was I reinforced it inside, and you can sort of see here. Let's go to the side camera. So you can see how I added plastic inside there, and plastic and glue, but that also meant that it was no longer translucent, so I had to paint it and just kind of go for an opaque look, because I don't have the means to make a beautiful, pristine, crystal clear windshield with that with those reinforcements in it. Nowadays they would do that a little bit better, but I'm going to very, very carefully transform him, and his legs, or his feet rather, they kind of snap in, so you just have to gently, without breaking off these delicate rear windows, because those also tend to break. It's a delicate toy. It's a very delicate toy. And then we're going to disengage the fists. The fists hold on to these little pegs on the shoulders, and then I'm going to rotate the arms, and then the arms do that shoulder thing, just like that. And we got the shoulder thing here, and we'll rotate it. And now, so there's kind of a double hinge in here, a double joint. We've got to pivot the body forward, and once again, you do that with the utmost of care, and then the whole hood assembly is on these two little posts here, and now we can pivot the hood and chest forward, exposing the face. And if you're going for a cartoon likeness, you can kind of close the doors a little bit behind him, like that. But nobody wants to do that. So, just open the doors and give him the wings that his cartoon likeness just didn't have. And then we'll put the arms forward so that they kind of hold themselves in position a little bit. And there we go. That is Gen 1 Jazz. And here, let's go ahead and show him here on his side view. So with the new stickers, he's not looking too bad. And with the he's got white for his arms and white on his doors, and I will get the rest of those stickers on there, but he's really not looking too bad here. And then you compare him to White Crasher, and they look like they could be cousins. they sort of do. You don't get to see any of the Rothman colors in Crasher's robot mode, which I actually think is a shame, because the little splashes of color add a lot to her, and it's something that I think adds some character. Nonetheless, I love Crasher. Crasher is one of my favorite Gobots of all time, and I never had one of the white ones before. And so I love having the white one. Now, the white deco scheme is actually the original machine robo design for her. And so that's the way she was originally intended, but I guess for the cartoon, they wanted her to be a renegade, they wanted her to be a bad guy, and they thought white was not appropriate for a bad guy color, so instead they made her they made her black. I find that very interesting, just because the Gobots really weren't very pronounced in how they did color. So you know, it's like you had Phytor that was bright red and black. I mean, yeah, I guess red and black is kind of a bad guy color scheme, but the bright red doesn't really go with it. Autobots, you know, in the Transformers world, Autobots were bright colors. They were red and blue and orange and white and you know, all sorts of colors. And then Decepticons tended to be blacks and purples and greens and things like that. You know, a lot of your secondary colors, a lot of your darker colors. But with Gobots, you just didn't have that pronounced color separation. So I just find that very interesting when I look at the difference of these two characters that have very similar car schemes. And oh, are we getting out Pretender Classics Jazz? So if we can see Pretender. Okay, so Kyoji asks if we can see Pretender Classics Jazz for comparison. All right, Kyoji, you asked for it, and then I'm gonna do my thank yous, because I kind of got started off on a weird foot having Jazz in lots of pieces, but we're gonna circle back. So this is Pretender Classics Jazz. He looks like a cop. He definitely looks cop-like. Here you go. I mean, he's got the badge. He's got like RoboCop armor almost, and then you can take the helmet off, and he looks super serious. He's a white guy. Scatman Carruthers is rolling in his grave because they made Jazz a white guy. That is not right. All right, I'm sorry, but it's Jazz. All right. He was voiced by Scatman Carruthers, and he embodies that character. I know that there have been other Jazzes, and they have been voiced by different people, but they are not quintessentially Jazz, because Jazz is Scatman Carruthers. I guarantee that what we don't know about Scatman Carruthers is he actually does transform into a Porche. So making him a white guy, I understand. It was the 80s. Every action figure guy except for Roadblock was white. But that being said, he should have been a black guy. I'm sorry, just should have been. And Monica is asking, what is up with the Vulcan eyebrows? He's got angry eyes. He's just, he's mad because he's white. So that's what it is. And of course the Pretender shell opens up, and then you have the absolute worst version of Jazz ever created. First of all, the black paint on the Pretender Classics was there was something wrong with it, and it chipped off very, very easily. And you can see on Jazz that any part that has that black paint is scratched just from being in the shell. That's not even normal wear and tear with play. That's just him being in the shell. and you have this truly heartbreaking transform where, you know, that's, if you look at him from the front, okay, you know, he looks like Jazz. You look at him from the side, what the hell is that? That is not a robot that turns into a car. That is years of therapy for poor Jazz. I mean, it's just, they released this same toy exclusive to Kmart as part of Transformers Legends, I think, or Classic Legends or something like that, where it was just this toy without the Pretender shell. And I have to say, without the Pretender shell, I mean, at least when you have the Pretender version, you have this figure that you can do stuff with, and you've got this, and you know what, let's just put him into car mode, and that'll help a little. And he's a little bit stuck here. Come on, you can do it. There's, well, he does not want to transform. I'm not going to force it. I can probably get some lithium, some spray lithium or something like that. Silicone spray. That's what I want. Silicone spray. I've found that if you have old Transformers toys and the joints are sticking, especially these sliding joints where they may have been in one position for years, a little bit of silicone spray in those joints will go a long way to just lubricate everything and make them slide very, very nicely. So rather than trying to force it and probably break it, I'm going to use some silicone spray. But you can see that's sort of what we've got for the car. The windshield, or the side windows are stickers. The headlights are stickers. Everything, it's a heavily stickered thing, and kind of just a sad state for Gen 1 Jazz. And this is a case where if you got this and then they came out with the Action Master, you bought the Action Master because it looked better. It just looked better. You know, I remember when I was, you know, when I had my Transformers toys out and I was a kid and I had my battles and stuff. I would use Action Master Jazz as this guy's robot mode. You know, I didn't use this guy as a robot. I just had him as a car, and you know, or he would be inside here. But he did not. What? Oh no, we don't need to get Action Master Jazz because he's yellowed terribly, and I have not fixed the O-ring. So he's yeah. Sometime we'll do a special about Jazz, and you know, maybe we'll roll him in with some other guys. But yeah, that's the sad fate of Gen 1 Jazz. He just, you know, I would love to see. Did they ever do a Masterpiece Jazz? Is there a Masterpiece Jazz? Because I have a Masterpiece Prowl. I don't know who Brow is. He's Brown Prowl? I don't know. Yeah, I have a Masterpiece Prowl, but I don't know if they ever did a Masterpiece Jazz, and I would love to have a Masterpiece Jazz. So, oh, now they do have, okay, so here we go. You know, let me first, wait, before we segue further, why don't we loop back and thank people for coming and welcome people here, because that's how we should have started. So let's, I used to have tea around, oh, I have the tea over here. Okay, so tea, and I see a cup All right, so let's. It's a Thursday night, so I'm having a hot chamomile tea that might have enhancements. And so let us welcome Kyoji. Thank you, Kyoji. It wouldn't be a live stream without you. A toast to Kyoji. And a toast to Sean. Sean Shago. I'm amazed that you didn't get enough of me when we worked together, but you keep coming back. God bless you. A toast to Sean. Nathan Fillion! Thank goodness for Nathan Fillion. Thank you for showing up on a Thursday night. And the Machiavellic. Machiavellic, thank you. See, we got like the all-star squad here. Where are all the cool people on a Thursday night? They're here. And for some reason, watching me on YouTube. Go Andy Robo. Go Andy Robo. I don't think that I've seen you here before. Welcome to your first time at a Retrobot live stream. We are glad to have you. I hope you have lots of fun. Everybody say hi to Go. And Cheeky Boy. Cheeky Boy. A toast to Cheeky Boy. I watched, you saw that I watched your video about the slug guy, and I know that you didn't want to use the scorpion on the rock. And it's okay. Don't break your scorpion because there's not enough room on the rock. There's other ways to do the live stream. So, Cheeky Boy. And yes, chamomile tea. A lot of times chamomile tea actually helps me sleep, but we're not sleeping tonight. We're talking about Gobots. Actually, we're talking a lot about jazz. But we'll get to Gobots, I promise. We will get to Gobots. So thank you, everyone. You guys are awesome, and I love you all. And it turns out that we do have a really, really nice version of jazz. Obviously, the Gen 1 is great, and it'll be even greater after I finish, doing the stuff to it. But we also have Alternators Jazz, who is a Mustang, and he's looking nice. Let's go ahead and do the side camera here, since we'll move Sad Jazz back, and we'll move Scatman Crothers Jazz and his sister Crasher over. And here is 1/24th scale. Oh, looks like we've got some stuff not aligned. 1/24th scale Mustang. This is the Alternators line. And these were super detailed, extremely complex, essentially models of cars that transformed into mostly posable robot modes. And they had, for the most part, they had opening hoods, and his engine is supposed to be in there and turn into a gun, but we didn't know that we were going to be talking about him, so it's still in the bag with the other guns and stuff. So Sean says, I took some medicine once with chamomile tea at work and slept at my desk for 4 hours. And I'm gonna pretend that wasn't when you were on my team. That's all right. That's all right, because well, that's really disappointing. That just popped right off of there. Yeah, I think that piece I'm gonna have to do a little bit of work on. So let's see if I can remember how to transform him. And I'll be honest, with alternators, a lot of times I practice this stuff before I do the live stream. But when we pull one out that I don't know that we're doing, I just have to wing it. And so with him, what I'm doing, and with all of these alternators, what I like to do is I just start loosening things. No, that's not the way it's going to be. That is not the way it's going to be. So, like, I'll open the doors. There's this bottom panel here that I can disengage. I can split the back. And once you kind of start loosening things up, you start seeing opportunities to move stuff around. And I can see that the seats appear to fold. So, you know, I might be, oh, they seem to open. So let's ignore that for a while. I can see arms in the front. So let's go ahead and pop the arms out. And the door comes off, which is handy. It's not really handy. I kind of wish that hadn't happened. But okay, here, I'm gonna just snap it back into place. The good news is it does snap back into place. The outside of the door slides, so you slide the door panel a little bit. Poor cat. So Wesley is on my lap, and he is very unhappy that I keep dropping car doors on him. So I'm just going to set that aside for the moment. And we got... Alternators are really bad for having lots of stuff that just sort of comes out of every angle. And this other door just wants to pop out. I don't want it to, so I'm going to snap it back in. There we go. And we'll swing the arms out like that. And rotate the fists. We've got the fists rotating. And then we've got... Well, heck, this isn't even Jazz. This is Wheeljack. This is Wheeljack. Jazz is the completely white one, now that with a license plate that says Meister. I'm going to continue transforming Wheeljack, and we're just going to pretend that this live stream has a theme. It really does not. At this point, we have spent more time talking about Jazz, and then I started transforming Alternators Wheeljack. So there we go. We're doing great. We're doing great. And let's see, the back end folds around, and then the seats actually go flat. I think they make the feet. And then we're going to rotate the upper body around like this. And we're going to maneuver this whole crazy assemblage. And it is just a crazy assemblage of parts. And let's see, that head does something. I don't know what it does, but it does something. Okay, I think that this little panel on the hood goes down. And I think that the dashboard and the windshield, yeah, they pop down like that. So I'm guessing that the head actually comes up through the gap here. Oh, yes. Okay, so we're making headway. So that little skinny thing folds all the way around, and that creates this slot in the hood. And now we can pop the head up from behind the hood in an ideal universe. There we go. And now his head can be on top of the hood here. And I can rotate the lower waist, I think. Yeah, that rotates. It's a little bit stiff, but we can do it. There we go. And now And then there's some hooks on the shoulder bits that clip into the fenders. And we've got his head in place. And we can reattach that door that kept wanting to come off. And hopefully it doesn't fall on my cat. Poor Wesley, you don't like having Transformer parts dropped on you. And there... Oh, I think I did something wrong. I don't think that it's supposed to be like that. There we go. And we'll put that on like that. There. All right. And so that is Alternator's Wheeljack for no other reason than we thought he was Jazz. So you can take a look. You know what? You handed him to me, and I didn't notice either. So it is not just your fault. But he's really well articulated. His parts get in his own way a lot, but you know, what do you expect? He turns into a 1/24th scale Mustang, and he really does look great. The alternators were a great line. But I will say that the only problem with the line was that they suffered from a little bit of, okay, we've seen that. You know, after getting like a dozen or so sports cars that turn into robots with a really, really complicated transform, it started feeling like, okay, when are we going to get some military vehicles? When are we going to get some jets? I would have loved to have seen an Alternators set of Constructicons that turned into construction vehicles and were able to merge. I know that that's not what the line was all about, but you know, that would have really made it an interesting line instead of everything only being sports cars. And so yeah, that is Wheeljack, and here is Alternators Jazz. He's got his Japanese name on his license plate, Meister. There it is. And he turns into a Mazda. I want to say, is this a Mazda Miata? I don't remember which Mazda this is. So, but he doesn't have the racing stripes or anything. So his car mode doesn't really look much like Jazz. But, and what Transformer was the Pontiac Firebird kit? I don't remember. I know that's terrible, but I don't remember which Transformer turn. Let's see. Wait, let me think. Because I remember that one. Trax. I want to say, or did he turn it? No, Trax turned into a Corvette. So I don't know if there was a Firebird. You know, there was Trax that turned into a Corvette. I don't know if there was a Firebird. It's hard to say. So are we gonna do? Am I gonna transform this? Am I doing it? No. Okay. We can save that for an all jazz live stream, unless we want Gobots. Okay, so we want to get to Gobots. We're gonna do Gobots. I will set my various versions of Jazz aside, but I'm keeping Crasher out because Crasher's awesome. And so let us bring back what we all came for. This is the big box of Gobots. This is what we got for, what was it, $115? at 30? Oh, 130. 130. Okay, so yeah, big box of Gobots that we got at half price books for $130, and you know what? I'm still happy about that. So let's go ahead. We're gonna just open this up. So last time that we looked in this big box of Gobots, we got through the top 2 rows, but we did not get to the bottom row, and so we need to correct that now. And I'm going to adjust the camera just a little bit here, and we're going to pull out our first Gobot. This is Crane Brain. Terrible name. Just a terrible name. Crane Brain. He's awesome, but he has just one of the worst. Well, I don't know if he's got one of the worst names, because there are some pretty bad names in the Gobot universe. Nonetheless, this is Crane Brain. He has a really cool vehicle mode. The one distinctive thing about this vehicle mode is that the crane itself is detachable, and you can see there's a little break here. He did not come with the other piece. Now that doesn't seem to stop it from being able to assemble and hold itself in just fine, but yeah, ideally it should wrap around and plug into this little tab here. And so we transform him like this. And he's and we extend the arms. And once again, Gobots just look really good. You know, he's got a nicely proportioned robot mode. These orange windows look great. He's got great details. The foil stickers even look good after 35 years. So, you know, this is a really, really nice toy. And I really like his vehicle mode, which, because Gobots are so simple, going back and forth from robot mode to vehicle mode is pretty easy. There we go. And, you know, this is a really cool little truck. He looks awesome. I feel like maybe this thing is supposed to kind of click in there. There, that's a little bit better there. So yeah, that is a great vehicle mode. I love the colors. I love the windows. He's just really awesome. And oh, Retro Robot Radio is here. Have we seen Retro Robot? I feel like we've seen him once. Least. So they commented last weekend about the helicopter. Okay, that's where I remember you. So Retro Robot Radio, I'm glad to see you here with us live. Retro Robot Radio gave me some info about. I had the factions wrong on Wrong Way. He was a guardian, not a renegade. I think that I had him confused with Warpath, one of the other helicopters. But we went back and forth in the comments, and I am very glad to see you here. So thank you, Retro Robot Radio. A toast. So that is Crane Brain. He is a really cool guy. I do have another one of these that I actually did a little bit of work on, because the other one that I had no boom at all. So I had to improvise something, and I'll show that at some point. But this is him. He's really cool. Really great toy to have. I'm gonna stick him right back in here. And actually, it's a little bit better these are kind of narrow, so I'm going to put his boom in separately. And then, there we go. And so, it wouldn't be a Gobots collection without Spacey. And here, I'm going to hold this guy on this side. The fading on the plastic is really unusual. Look at that. Now, he is, from all I can tell, he is 100% original. But the plastic on this side has yellowed and the plastic on this side has not. It's just crazy. It's almost like he was in a case where maybe this side was close to a window and this side just wasn't. But yeah, it's amazing how pronounced the difference in the color is. Spacey, I have mixed feelings about Spacey. Spacey, if you collect Gobots, you have like 3 Spaceys at least. It seems like Spacey was highly circulated. He was in every collection, and he's cool in some of the moves that you do for the transform. So let's go ahead and let's convert him into a robot. So we'll of course pull down the legs because that's what you do, and you flip up the tail, and then you rotate the top of the shuttle. But here, notice that the face isn't on the bottom here. The face is fused with the chest. So when you see the underside of the shuttle, there's no face there. So the whole body just rotates underneath that, and that exposes the face, which I think is very, very cool. And then you can, if you've got fingernails, which I don't, you can pull the arms out. Spacey was a female in the cartoon, so she was another one of the female Gobots. And you know what? She's even got a feminine face. And to be honest, I didn't remember Spacey from the cartoon, so I didn't remember that she was a she. But yeah, that is a definitely female-looking face. Now, let's see if I can actually get that other arm out. Here, what I can do is I can grab the shoulder by pivoting the top of the space shuttle, and that will give me something to grab onto. And so there we go. And Spacey is looking really nice. She has a great robot mode. She has she's got a cone head. My only criticism of this toy design, well, there's a couple. For one thing, every version of Spacey that I've ever gotten has been very floppy. The nose cone always just kind of, it never stays in its place, and the tail never wants to hold itself up when it's in vehicle mode. And even in robot mode, she just looks a lot like a space shuttle. She looks like a space shuttle with arms. That's really what she looks like, because she just doesn't change shape very much. And, here's a little bit of that floppiness. Her leg doesn't want to hold up. Yeah, I like that they did this with the tail. That is really, really nice. And her silver looks great, and her paint looks great. Her deco looks great. I really like the face. But overall, she's not a great example of a vehicle that transforms its identity. She is very much a space shuttle that got up and walked away. So, love you, Spacey, but there are ways that you could have been better. Now, that being said, compare her to Transformers Blast Off, and that figure is unimpressive. That's the kind way to put it. So if you're now, granted, he turned into an arm mostly by plugging his face into a shoulder and adding a fist. She could, you could get her to be an arm just by having her plug in and adding a fist. But yeah, she's nice, but I wish that they had just done a little bit more. That being said, I really like that you don't see the face on the underside of the space shuttle. I do like her overall design. Her silver bits and her white are just they're gorgeous. I mean, they look great, and this is a great little vehicle. And if I ever go in and tighten up the joints, then that would probably help a lot. So, Go Andy Robo. This is the Machine Robo Shuttle Robo figure is from a few years ago and is fantastic. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I have the Bike Robo version of that, and it is phenomenal, and I really would like to collect all of those because they are so cool. A little bit pricey, so that's what's held me back from just buying them, but when I can get a whole case of Gobots for the price of 2 of those, or like 1.7 of those, then I have to take the big box of Gobots. So nonetheless, that is Space C, and she is probably the nicest version that we have. We do have a couple other versions, and most of them are far more beat up and far more loosey-goosey. So at some point, I am going to try to retro bright the yellowed plastic, and we will get her looking white. And Amanda is here! A toast to Amanda! There we go. So, and I just recklessly finished that cup, but don't worry, I've got a whole pot. So, and all of it has special somethings in it. So let's just go ahead and put Spacey back in her little cubby, and let us pull out our next one. Okay, so we're going with the white guys. This is Rest Q, not Rescue. It's Rest Q. I don't understand. I understand rest is a word, and for Gobot names, you follow it with a letter or a number, and that makes it sound more robot-y. But what does rest have to... I'm trying to understand. Rest Q. And it's supposed to sound like rescue, but, since they've already given us things like Kill, they didn't call him Side Kill, they called him Kill. So, how did Rest Q end up with the T in the name? I don't know, but, once again, like Ratchet, we've got a flat front ambulance, and this one's a little bit loosey-goosey, but it's a nice vehicle mode. It's kind of plain. It is cute though. I kind of want to eat him. He looks like a roll of sushi, and okay. Imagine this with just a little bit of drizzle. And maybe some avocado, and I tell you, this guy would be delicious. So yeah, that's Rest Q. His vehicle mode is very short in comparison to a lot of the other vehicles. Like, let's just compare with White Crasher here. Oh, I can do that. I can do that. We can make this happen. So here we've got our sushi plate, and we'll just put Rest Q on here, and let's go ahead. We've got Rest Q, and are there any other transforming robot toys that maybe deserve to be eaten? Well, I'll just pick one completely at random here. And yeah, so now I don't have my soy sauce, but I feel like we can do this. Yeah, wait, we can get this. There we go. And can I work the mouse with my other hand? There we go. Okay, so we got this. We dip Wheelie in just a little bit of soy sauce, and then okay, my clumsiness saved you this time, Wheelie. He's got a little bit of slime on him. I don't know how that happened. That's accidental. I don't know what would have happened that would have caused that. Anyway, so we've got White Crasher here, and we're going to turn her into her car mode. And so you look at her sports car mode, and she's much longer. Rest Q, and I guess that's because with the Gobots, they tended to try to have the robots be all on the same scale, and then they would scale up or scale down the vehicles to suit the conversion. So yeah, that is actually, he looks good on the plate. That gets rid of the white on white, so we're going to leave him on the plate for a second. Let's go ahead and transform Rest Q. And he has a pretty straightforward transform. You're going to flip out the arms. You're going to fold the legs around just like that. And then you're going to try and pull up the head. And there you go. And he's got a great robot mode. His robot mode really does look awesome. Lots of detail on the chest. Once again, the proportions on Gobots are really, really nice. Unlike a lot of the Transformers mini cars and the small scale Transformers, where you would sometimes have characters that had arms that didn't reach past their chest. And just because of the nature of how Hasbro licensed anything and everything to be a Transformer, and so scale went out the window. But Machine Robo and the Gobots that were created from the Machine Robo line, because it was pretty much all from that one line, except for the stuff that Tonka added and licensed, it was all engineered in a similar fashion, and to one of only a few very limited different scales. And so when they make a guy that looks like that, he's gonna look like that. And I'm so glad that my camera actually focused in on him. So yeah, it's a really nice robot mode, and I would say that he's easily as he's far better than First Aid, which is probably the closest the closest analog. And I would say that his robot mode is better than Gen 1 Ratchet, because he has a face. If it were Gen 1 Ratchet, he would be like this, and then I'd have a picture of a face. But no, he's got an actual head. Now that's not fair. I understand the Takara line was based around piloted mecha, not sentient robots. But that does beg the question. Okay, so here, I'm just going to ask this, because obviously you have Gobots coming out, and their story is sentient robotic life forms from another planet. They bring their civil war to Earth. Transformers, sentient robotic life forms from another planet that bring their civil war to Earth. There are other stories that could be told. Like, for instance, you could have a story about, just coming up with something off the top of my head, a transforming Volkswagen Beetle with a group of young friends and a dog. That's Muffy and the Mysterians. And if you've never heard of that, once again, I'm going to shout out to Chris McFeely, who does the Transformers The Basics videos on YouTube, and there's a pretty involved video about the history of that. But you know, that's just one thing. You have the idea of piloted mecha. You know, why is it that Transformers and Gobots, when they both came over, Transformers were already piloted mecha before they came over? Why did they become, once again, sentient robotic life forms that bring their civil war from another planet? Or in the recent Gobots comic book, which I didn't really like, I'm sorry, but I appreciated that they tried a new approach. The Gobots were man-made machines that gained sentience, and I didn't read it, so I don't know how close of a description that is. I think that's generally what it was. So you know, there are other ways to tell that story. It's just funny that the top two both had the exact same concept. So anyway, Retro Robot Radio says Tonka hired some writers from Mattel to name the first wave of Gobots. The guy who named Muto also named... Oh, Masters of the Universe also named many of the Gobots. Well, that explains a lot. I guess we're lucky that he didn't get called Bandage Man, and and this would be Race Woman, or I don't know. They were kind of on the man thing, and boy, you know, we all know what would have happened with Dive. All right, we know where they would have gone. So it's a semen joke. For those who didn't pick up where I was going, it was a semen joke. Because we're all about the highbrow humor here on Retrobot. So yeah, this is Rest Q. I don't know that he's particularly restful, and I question the Q. But he is still a really cool robot. I love his robot mode, and I like his vehicle mode. I'm not as excited about the vehicle mode. I think that if the windows of the ambulance were another color, that would have added a lot. Yeah, I think that the fact that it's a lot of white on white with not a lot of detail in the vehicle mode kind of hurts him. And certainly the fact that it's a little bit loosey-goosey, you know, if I tighten up the joints, that would help a lot too. But I really do like the vehicle or the robot mode a lot, and he's just he's a cool guy. And plus, because his vehicle mode is kind of stubby, it's a lot of fun to hold in your hand. You know, like you want to not stress at work. Okay, you just keep this guy in your pocket, and you just kind of hold on to him, and you rub your thumb against the wheel, and he becomes a fidget device, and very satisfying. And also, he fits into the cubby really nicely. So, let's see. Oh, Christopher Remley is here! A toast to Chris Remley! Good to see you, Chris. Thank you for joining me on a Thursday night. That's good. It's good for the throat. So, the next in our line of Gobots, from a big box of Gobots, we have Night Ranger. And let me tell you, I had the white version of this when I was a kid. I love this toy. I absolutely love this toy. This is an impressive motorcycle. And I will hold him up against just about any of the other motorcycle transforming toys that have been made over the years, because this one looks great. fantastic vehicle mode, very realistic. Look at the detail on that engine. Let's go ahead and I'll get it focused here. Yeah, look at that. You know, great detail on the engine and on the front. Now, the sticker here that has his name on it, okay, that's a little bit weak. The version that I had, I don't think that it had that. But and so, you know, the opaque windscreen is unfortunate. I wish that it were translucent, but what are you going to do? The engine is made of die-cast metal pieces. The detail, like even inside here, you know, being able to see the details that they put in the handlebars and the hand grips and the gas tank, it's just a really, really nicely made toy. And at such a small scale, it's easily one of the nicest Gobots, one of the nicest designed Gobots that they came up with. And yes, you've got some robot face down here, but boy, you really have to, I mean, he has to be running you over in order for you to see the robot face. I'm not gonna sing. I'm not motoring. I haven't had nearly enough of this adult encouragement to start singing that on this live stream. Plus, I couldn't tell exactly what key it was in, and you know, so nobody wants to hear that. No, don't lie to me. You know you don't want it. So let's go ahead and Gogo Andy Robo says he had the red version. I have not seen the red version, and I would love to get the red version. Gobots are so amazingly collectible that it is my goal to have like every variation, and I feel like before the end of my life that could happen. But yeah, I don't have the red version. I bet it's cool. The blue one's cool. I bet the red one's cool. So let's go ahead and let's convert this guy into a robot. So the back of the motorcycle becomes the feet, and so you have to move the knees. Move the knees away from the seat, and then at the same time you're going to pivot the lower legs. And then we're going to straighten those out. See, look, he's got knees. Not many Gobots have knees, but he actually has knees. And let's just go ahead and do that. Okay, now you're going to take the seat. The seat makes the arms, so we're going to spread those out this way. And then we're going to pivot right here. There's a joint right here. You can see it better from behind. So you can see that pivot point right there. And then you take the front wheel and you rotate it around and you put it into the chest. Just like that. And actually, you know what? I did the arms wrong, because what you need to do is you rotate the arms around like this and like this. And now you bend at that joint this way. Ooh, that made a clicky noise that I'm not entirely comfortable with. There we go. And there. Boy, I don't like those clicking noises. Oh yeah, those are stresses. Okay, so yep, that was a bad clicking noise. Yeah, the arm popped out of the joint. I don't think that it's like broken forever. Okay. but there's definitely a stress there. Okay, so here's what I did that you should not do, okay? Notice in the back, these are comfortable when they're down like this. If they're out like that and you bend these all the way down, it puts a lot of stress on that joint, and then they are unhappy. So don't do that. Leave these down like that, and now you've got that. But oh yeah, my joint broke. My joint is broken. Oh, look at that. So I will fix that, which is very, very sad. That is unfortunate. So, and then we're going to slide the bottom wheel up, and now that is his robot mode, which would look much better if he had both arms. But sadly, I have made that not work so well. Come on, camera. You had him in focus, and then you lost it. So, okay, let's go to the other camera. So here he is in his robot mode, and his robot mode is pretty cool. But I think, okay, so here's where I think I went wrong. You can see how the plastic is kind of slopes down here, which means that if you fold this all the way down, it puts a lot of tension on this thin little joint right here. And so, and I did that thinking that it would lock down. And I seem to remember that when I was a kid, I didn't like that his arm didn't want to go all the way down, and you know, I wanted this to be a more conventional shoulder joint. So when I was a kid, I filed down that little recess so that his arm could just go all the way around, and I might have also rounded off that little corner just a little bit so that it could come around, because this obviously has kind of an elbow to it. And it looks like his arm is in, you know, this kind of a position, okay? Which if it were in like that kind of a position, that would just look awkward. So I want to say that the one that I had when I was a kid, I modified so that it would convert the way that I wanted it to, rather than doing either something like this, which I don't like, you know, that doesn't look cool, or the way that I was just showing you, where you kind of leave the shoulder drooped down a bit and his arm flaring out to the side just a little bit. So as much as I really like this guy and I love the way that they made him transform, I was not satisfied with the way that the arms transformed, and thus I felt the need to fix it when I was younger, and I learned some bad lessons. So, yeah, this is that is how he's supposed to be transformed, and I'm just gonna have to fix that other arm, which is really sad. You know, that broke off completely. So I'm gonna have to probably get the needle and thread and do one of those repairs. So, and for those of you who didn't catch the live stream where I was fixing Beast Wars Megatron, go ahead and check it out, because I use a needle and thread to reinforce joints like that with some super glue, and that gives them something to bind to. So you absolutely can fix something like this. It seems like it's irredeemable, but it's not. You can do it. It's not that hard. So we will set him aside. Clay modding his figure since before it was cool. Thank you for saying that it was ever cool. So Machiavellic is, thank you, Machiavellic. A toast to Machiavellic. Yeah, that's disappointing. I broke him. That's no good. I'm not supposed to break my toys. Especially not on camera. Now you have a video record of me breaking my toys. Oh, I'm supposed to fix the toys, not break them. So, breaking toys on stream isn't a good look, man. Sorry. It happens. And you know what? I'm keeping it real. That's what I'm going to fall back on. I'm keeping it real. So, let's go ahead to the next cubby, and this is the one that everybody's been waiting for. This is Night Striker Psy-Kill. Not Sidekill, Psy-Kill. And let's go ahead and get him in his full-on motorcycle mode. There we go. From back in a day when chrome toys were everywhere. They were all the rage, and Sidekill here is one of the best. He is a cool little motorcycle. That is something that I will give Psy-Kill. He looks great as a motorcycle. And yeah, he's got a really, really simple transform. I like his transform. I wish there weren't so many bits that came off of him. That's one thing that I will say. Even when I was a kid, that kind of bothered me, that you remove like 2/3 of the parts in order to transform him from a vehicle into a robot. And the other thing that I never liked is there's nothing to do with the engine. What they did with the wheels, okay, I'll accept that. But the fact that, so here, let's go ahead, rather than just talk about it, let's do it. We're going to very carefully pull the arms apart, because I don't want to break 2 toys in one live stream. And then we're going to straighten out the legs, and then there we go. We kick one back, take out the wheel. And now, here is what bugs me about Psy-Kill. Let's get his arm rotated. There we go. The engine, it seems like it should go on his back or something, but it just doesn't go anywhere. You just set it aside, and then you can take the wheels and plug them into the shoulders. And there he is. And he looks cool. The green and black is unusual but really striking. I guess that's why they called him Night Striker Psy-Kill. Night Striker, because he's striking. I don't know. I'm coming up with this stuff off the top of my head. I apologize. But yeah, it's Psy-Kill. He's got an iconic robot mode. He's got a great silhouette. He's just an awesome guy, and had a really neat character in the cartoon, which didn't have a whole lot of high points. So Psy-Kill was probably one of the most interesting characters on the show, right next to Crasher, and they made a great pair. So yeah. Go Andy Robo says, I think there's some Machine Robo artwork showing the engine can clip on the hand. I may be mistaken. I'm not brave enough to do it because I don't want those pegs breaking. All right, I am not going to break him, but let me just see. It does sort of look... yeah, I can get it to be on the arm, and then it's like a fusion cannon. So, then it falls off. But it did not break. So, yeah, I think that it doesn't hold itself on really well. Is that where I'm supposed to be? Yeah, that's... And let's see if there's any other things that can... Trying different combinations here and not really finding much. Retro Robot Radio says there was a Gobots text story called Chains of Doom, where they used a lot of the alternate decos like the green Psykill. I have it archived. Oh, I'd be very interested to see that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm guessing that if there's anywhere that you're supposed to put the engine, it might be on the arm like this, but it doesn't seem to want to stay there. So here, I'll show this. It definitely evokes a little bit of a Megatron look, but you know, that's never a bad thing. So yeah, that is Night Striker Psykill. Let's go ahead and put him back into motorcycle mode, because I don't think that we gave that enough of a spin here. See, I said spin, because it's a motorcycle. Okay, that was bad. I'm sorry. I apologize. Let's go ahead. We're going to do the arms, get the wheel in between there. I always wanted to make a Psykill Halloween costume. And, of course, I would make it so that I could transform and so that it would roll. But I never did, because, you know, that would be a lot of work. And let's see. The legs, the knee joints are being really, really touchy here. And I do not want to break yet another toy. So I have a couple Psykills in my collection, and they all break around the knees. The plastic there is very, very thin, and it is very hard not to have them break, because it's kind of a stress point. So let's get his wheel in there. There we go. See, here's the thing with Psykill. This is something that I'm going to point out that is kind of a design flaw, in my opinion. So if you look at the knees, those leg pieces, it's not a full loop. There is a break here, and it engages these little pegs on the back of the engine. And because of that, those knees are really, really weak. And that is a major, major problem with this design, because every version of Psykill that I have ever had, the knees break because that is such a weak spot. It does a great job of holding that engine in place, but it doesn't do such a good job of maintaining itself over 35 years of play. So we will handle this one with kit gloves, but if you have a Psykill, be aware that those knees are tremendously delicate. So that is Night Striker Psykill. He already has a broken handle, and of course you can see that a lot of the chrome is already worn off. So he's not in perfect shape anyway, but yeah, we don't want to break him further. I do love this motorcycle though. I mean, that's just cool. I realize it's just a robot that's bent over, but it's a cool looking robot that's bent over. So yeah, so we will set Night Striker Psykill aside, and oh, Brick Woad is here. A toast to the immortal Brick Woad. And Brick says, so while watching Batman for the second time, you did have time for an impromptu costume. Yes, when we were in the theater, watching the 1989 Tim Burton Batman movie. I had my bucket of popcorn, which I emptied out because I was a little piggy, and then I had a half coin. I was dating a girl at that time. She was my girlfriend. We got half coins because that's what you did in the late 80s when you had a girlfriend. You got these half coins that you could put together, which you never did, but you could. And they would say something sappy on hearts and stuff like that. And so I used my half coin because it had a little bit of a sharp edge to cut into the paper popcorn bucket, and I cut triangles out of the bottom and folded them up to make bat ears. And then I cut out eye holes, and I could put it on my head, and we called that the Bat Bucket. So, yes, that was my impromptu Batman costume in 1989 for Batman. So, yeah. And Retro Robot Radio sells 3D printed replacement cycle wheels. Very cool. Do you happen to be able to print in NinjaFlex? And if so, can you make replacement Gobot tires? Because that's what the entire world needs. We need replacement rubber tires. So if you got that, you got a whole bunch of people that will pay you for them. So just saying, I should get a 3D printer that can print with NinjaFlex. NinjaFlex, by the way, for those who don't know, NinjaFlex is a rubber 3D printing material, and it's great. The parts that it makes are very, very strong and very flexible, and it's beautiful. It is beautiful stuff. Now, you have to have a machine that can actually use the NinjaFlex, but if you do, you can make rubber parts that are excellent quality. So, thumbs up from me. So, yeah, NinjaFlex. Anyway, going back to the last of our Gobots from the box. This is Stinger, and he is a Trans Am. Is this a Firebird? I don't. He doesn't have a fiery bird on him, but it is definitely a Trans Am. And I could see this black with the kit light bar, and he's got fat tires. He looks really cool. He's smaller in scale in some ways. Yeah, you see how he's not too much smaller, but he seems like a little bit. Let me just hold him up next to Crasher here. Crasher's a little bit of a large car anyway. And let me go ahead and change the focus here so that you can actually see what's going on here. So, we'll just hold these guys there. So, I guess he's pretty much on par with Crasher in his vehicle mode. Crasher's just a little bit more boxy. So, this is Stinger. Stinger looks great in vehicle mode. Love the fat tires. Internet says it's a Corvette. I guess it's an 80s Corvette, which looked a lot like a Trans Am. So, if I had any criticisms, it's that there's just not a whole lot of variation. It's got this gold color, which is kind of a dull plastic, and the windows look great, but that's really the only detail that there is on there. Gobots aren't known for having lots of detail on their vehicle modes, but the vehicle mode is a little bit plain in terms of variations. If you like doing detail painting, then I think this would look great as a two-tone design. I would love to see the back painted. That would be cool. I would love it if there were taillights. So, lots of little things could go into making this from a really, really cool vehicle to an amazing vehicle. So that is Stinger in Stinger's vehicle mode. Stinger has a little bit more of a unique conversion. So we're going to pull out the legs here, and then you're going to rotate them. I think they rotate this way. I'm trying to remember. And then you have the wheel, the entire bottom of the front end pivots to become the feet. So they're going to do that. And I'm wondering if maybe they're supposed to rotate the other way. No, I think that they rotate this way. And then we have the arms that come down like this. And then we've got the back that folds around like this. And then this goes against the back, making for a really neat robot mode. Yeah, Stinger looks great in robot mode. And here's the thing, because of the way that back end folds down, he looks just as good from the back as he looks from